I didn't storm out. There was no desk-clearing tantrum, no email copying the CEO, no dramatic speech about corporate values. I simply stood up from my workstation at 2:47 a.m. on Black Friday, unplugged my headset, and walked away from 15 years of loyalty that had just been valued at exactly $60,000 less than an MBA who couldn't tell the difference between our ERP system and a spreadsheet. My name is Michael Patterson. I'm 48 years old, and this is how I learned that teaching someone everything you know is the fastest way to make yourself expendable. The whole thing started innocently enough 18 months ago. Precision Manufacturing Corp had hired this bright kid, Jonathan Webb, fresh out of business school with an MBA and a head full of ideas about digital transformation. He was 29, ambitious, and spoke fluent corporate buzzword. The kind of guy who could turn "we need to fix this broken system" into "we should leverage synergistic solutions to optimize our technological infrastructure." I'd been at Precision for 15 years by then. Started there right after I got out of the Navy. 8 years as an IT specialist on destroyers teaches you a thing or two about keeping critical systems running under pressure. No room for failure when you're floating in the middle of the Pacific with 300 other guys depending on your network staying up. That discipline served me well in civilian life. Precision wasn't glamorous work, but it was solid. We manufactured precision components for aerospace and automotive companies, the kind of parts that had to be perfect because people's lives depended on them. Our $500 million operation ran on a complex web of legacy ERP systems that I'd spent 15 years learning, maintaining, and occasionally cursing at during 3 a.m. emergencies. The thing about manufacturing AT is that it's not like running a website or managing email servers. When our systems go down, production lines stop. When production lines stop, we lose $20,000 an hour. When we can't ship orders on time, customers start looking for new suppliers. There's no "we'll patch it Monday" in manufacturing. Downtime is measured in dollars bleeding out of the company's bank account. I'd worked my way up from junior systems analyst to senior infrastructure engineer over those 15 years. I knew every quirk of our systems, every workaround that kept things running, every integration point between our ERP, warehouse management, and production control systems. Most importantly, I knew why things were built the way they were. That institutional knowledge isn't something you pick up from a textbook. Enter Jonathan Webb, Digital Transformation Specialist. Nice title. His first day, Jennifer Martinez, our operations director, asked me to show him around our IT infrastructure. Give him the full tour, she said. Help him understand how everything connects. So I did. I spent hours with the kid, walking him through our legacy systems, explaining why we couldn't just move everything to the cloud, like he kept suggesting. Our production floor needed millisecond response times. Our quality control systems required real-time data feeds from 47 different machines. Our inventory management had to track 50,000 unique part numbers across 3 warehouses with 99.97% accuracy because aerospace customers don't accept close enough. Jonathan was eager to learn, I'll give him that. Asked good questions, took detailed notes, seemed genuinely interested in understanding the complexity of what we'd built over the years. Reminded me of myself when I was starting out, hungry for knowledge, wanting to make a difference. I genuinely liked mentoring him. By month 3, something shifted. Jonathan started sitting in on executive meetings that I'd never been invited to. Started talking about modernization initiatives and infrastructure optimization opportunities. He'd throw around phrases like leveraging existing system knowledge and building on institutional expertise. Corporate speak for, "Michael taught me this, but I'm the one presenting it." Don't get me wrong, the kid was smart. He understood business strategy in ways I never would. He could take my technical explanations about database performance and turn them into PowerPoint slides that made executives nod approvingly. He knew how to package solutions in language that leadership wanted to hear. But there's a difference between understanding something well enough to present it and understanding it well enough to fix it when it breaks at 2 a.m. on a Saturday. Jonathan lived in the first world. I lived in the second. By month 6, Jonathan was getting invited to strategic planning sessions. By month 9, he had his own budget for digital transformation projects. By month 12, executives were praising his innovative approach to legacy system modernization. All of it built on foundations I'd explained to him during those early training sessions. I didn't mind, initially. Mentoring junior people was part of the job. Seeing someone you've trained succeed feels good. And Jonathan always credited collaboration with the infrastructure team when presenting his projects. Technically accurate, diplomatically worded. Then November rolled around. The Tuesday before Thanksgiving, Jennifer Martinez sent a company-wide email with the subject line, "Investing in our future, retention program announcement. Corporate speak for we're hemorrhaging talent and need to stop the exodus before Christmas bonuses get announced." She was scheduling individual calls to discuss competitive retention packages for key personnel. The kind of language that sounds generous until you realize they're trying to put golden handcuffs on people who might otherwise walk away. I should have seen it coming. The writing was on the wall for months. Good people had been leaving. Our best database administrator took a job at a tech startup for a 50% raise. Our network engineer got poached by a competitor. Two of our most experienced production support analysts had given notice within the same week. The job market was hot, and Precision was losing the war for talent. But I wasn't worried about my position. 15 years of institutional knowledge, flawless track record of keeping critical systems running, relationships with every vendor and contractor we dealt with. I figured I was pretty secure. After all, I was the guy they called when everything went sideways. That confidence lasted right up until Jennifer called me on Wednesday afternoon to discuss my competitive retention package. Jennifer called me first on Wednesday afternoon, which should have been my warning. In corporate America, when they have good news for you, they make you sweat it out. When they're about to disappoint you, they get it over with early, so they can spend the rest of the week managing the fallout. "Michael," she said, her video background showing that tasteful bookshelf setup they all seem to use now. "Professional but approachable. I want to start by thanking you for everything you do. You've been absolutely critical to our stability, especially maintaining our legacy systems through all these transitions." The pause that followed felt like falling down an elevator shaft. I'd heard enough corporate conversations to know that everything before the word but was just throat clearing. "We're excited to offer you a retention bonus of $25,000, paid over 6 months, contingent on an 18-month commitment agreement. $25,000. I stared at my screen, trying to process the number. My first thought wasn't gratitude or excitement. It was math. Cold, hard family finance math. My daughter Rachel was halfway through her sophomore year at State University. Tuition, room, and board ran us $28,000 a year. My son Anthony would be starting as a freshman next fall. 2 kids in college simultaneously. The financial nightmare that Kate and I had been preparing for since they were in middle school, but somehow never felt prepared enough to handle. Kate had cut back to part-time teaching last year to help care for her mother, who'd moved in with us after her stroke. Good for family, brutal for finances. We were managing, but barely. Every dollar mattered. Every unexpected expense meant shifting money around from savings accounts that were already running thin. $25,000, spread over 6 months, worked out to about $4,100 extra per month before taxes. Maybe $3,000 take-home. Not nothing, but not life-changing either. Certainly not enough to make the college tuition burden feel manageable. "I appreciate the offer," I said carefully. "Can I review the full terms of the agreement?" "Of course. I'll send everything over this afternoon. Just let me know by Friday if you're ready to move forward." "Sure thing." After we hung up, I sat in my home office feeling oddly deflated. 15 years of rock-solid performance, of being the guy they called when systems crashed, of training new employees and mentoring junior staff, of working weekends and holidays to keep production running. And this was my value to the company. $25,000 to stick around for 18 more months. I was still processing that feeling when Jonathan messaged me on Slack an hour later. "Dude, just got off a call with Jennifer. They really came through. Check this out." He sent a screenshot. Clean, unredacted, no attempt to hide it. Probably excited and wanting to share good news with someone who'd understand the company context. Or maybe just thoughtless about how it might look. $85,000. Same structure, 6-month payment schedule, same 18-month commitment requirement, but $85,000 instead of $25,000. A difference of $60,000. More than twice my annual salary increase budget for the past 5 years combined. I read the screenshot 3 times, hoping I'd misunderstood something. Hoping there was some explanation that would make it make sense. Different role classifications, maybe. Different market rates for transformation specialists versus infrastructure engineers. Something. "Told you they know talent when they see it," Jonathan added in a follow-up message. I closed Slack without responding. I needed time to think. That evening, Kate found me sitting at the kitchen table with a legal pad, working through numbers. College tuition projections. our monthly budget, retirement savings that had been stagnant for 3 years because every extra dollar went toward family expenses. "How did your call with Jennifer go?" she asked, settling into the chair across from me with her evening tea. "They offered me a retention bonus." "That's great." "How much?" "25,000. Spread over 6 months. Kate nodded, doing the same quick math I'd done earlier. "Every bit helps with the kids' expenses. Jonathan got $85,000. She stopped mid-sip, set her mug down carefully. Kate had been married to me for 22 years. She knew the significance of that number without me having to explain it. "The kid you've been training?" "The same one." We sat in silence for a few minutes. Kate has always been better at processing emotional information than me. Military training teaches you to compartmentalize problems, address them systematically, focus on solutions rather than feelings. But this wasn't a technical problem with a technical solution. "What are you going to do?" she finally asked. "I don't know yet." But that wasn't entirely true. Part of me already knew. The Navy had taught me about leadership, about taking care of your people, about the importance of institutional knowledge and experience. It had also taught me about recognizing when a situation was fundamentally broken beyond repair. The next morning, I reviewed Jonathan's recent project presentations, the ones I'd helped him prepare. Spearheading digital transformation initiatives, leading legacy system modernization strategy, driving innovation across manufacturing operations. My technical knowledge, my system insights, my 15 years of institutional memory, all repackaged in MBA language that made executives lean forward and nod approvingly. I also pulled my performance reviews from the past 3 years. Consistently exceeds expectations. Critical to operational stability, prevents costly downtime through proactive system maintenance. Invaluable institutional knowledge. Go-to person for complex technical challenges. Invaluable institutional knowledge worth $25,000. MBA presentation skills worth $85,000. The math was pretty clear. Thursday night came faster than I wanted. Thanksgiving weekend was always our highest stress period. Henderson Industries, our biggest client, had placed their largest order of the year for Black Friday fulfillment. 3 days of 24/7 production, everything running at maximum capacity, no room for error. I'd worked every major holiday weekend for the past 10 years. Not because I was officially on call, but because I was the one person who could diagnose and fix problems fast, enough to minimize downtime. It had become an unspoken expectation. Michael will handle whatever comes up. Kate kissed me goodnight at 10:30 p.m. "Try to get some sleep," she said. "You'll need it for the weekend." "I will." At 11:30 p.m., I got the first alert. Data replication lag between our primary ERP system and the warehouse management system was climbing. Not catastrophic yet, but trending in the wrong direction. The kind of early warning that, if you catch it fast enough, stays invisible to everyone except the person watching the monitors. By midnight, order processing had slowed by 15%. Pick and pack operations were taking 3 minutes longer per transaction. Doesn't sound like much until you multiply it by 50,000 orders that Henderson Industries needed shipped by Tuesday. We were looking at a potential 2,500-hour delay in fulfillment, enough to miss shipping deadlines that would trigger penalty clauses in our contract. I traced the issue back to a database optimization script that Jonathan had implemented the week before. His performance enhancement initiative, another one of those projects that looked great in PowerPoint presentations. The script was supposed to improve query response times during normal operations, and it did, technically. Under light load, database queries ran 12% faster. The problem was that nobody had tested it under Black Friday volume. Jonathan's optimization was creating lock contention when thousands of concurrent transactions hit the system simultaneously. The database was essentially choking on its own efficiency improvements. I had 2 options. Roll back the optimization script, which would fix the immediate problem but require taking the system down for 10 minutes during peak processing, or implement a workaround that would keep us limping along until Monday, when we could address it properly during maintenance hours. For 15 years, I'd chosen the fix. Take the short-term pain to prevent long-term disaster, minimize downtime, maintain stability, keep the lights on. That's what infrastructure engineers do. We eat the stress so everyone else can sleep soundly. My phone rang at 12:17 a.m. Jennifer, her voice tight with stress. "Michael, I'm seeing alerts on the dashboard. What's happening?" I explained the situation. Technical details, root cause, remediation options, estimated time to resolution. The same calm, professional breakdown I'd given dozens of times over the years. "How bad is it? Can it wait until morning?" "It'll get worse. We'll start missing shipping deadlines by 6 a.m. if I don't fix it now." Jonathan mentioned this optimization was supposed to improve system performance. Of course he had. Probably took credit for the 12% improvement in normal query times without mentioning that he'd never stress tested it under load. It works fine under normal conditions. Breaks under stress. Can you fix it without taking the system down? Not safely. I can patch it temporarily, but we'll hit the same problem again. During peak hours, do what you have to do, but keep the downtime minimal. I implemented the fix, monitored the system for 20 minutes to confirm it held, and documented everything in the incident log. System performance returned to normal. Crisis averted. Another successful save that would never make it into a performance review or executive summary. At 1:47 a.m., Jonathan sent me a Slack message. "Heard there was some excitement tonight. You got it handled?" Like he was checking on a basketball score. Casual, detached, completely disconnected from the 3 hours of stress I'd just endured to fix his broken code. "Fixed," I replied. "Awesome. That's what I told Jennifer when she called, that you'd take care of it. We make a good team, man. We." That word hit me like ice water. The royal we that takes ownership of success while delegating the actual work to someone else. Jonathan had told Jennifer that he would take care of the crisis, using the collective we to claim responsibility for work he couldn't do, problems he couldn't solve, expertise he didn't possess. At 2:30 a.m., another alert fired. Different system, same underlying issue. Jonathan's optimization script was creating cascade failures across multiple database connections. The warehouse management system was struggling to sync with inventory controls. Our quality control dashboard was showing timeout errors. 3 critical systems, all choking on the same improvement that had looked so good in testing. I had the same 2 options as before. Implement individual patches for each affected system, or roll back Jonathan's entire optimization package and take everything down for 15 minutes during our busiest night of the year. I sat at my workstation, looking at the error logs, thinking about that Slack message. We make a good team. Thinking about performance reviews that praised my institutional knowledge while paying me $60,000 less than the person who'd broken the system I was fixing. Thinking about 15 years of 3 a.m. phone calls and weekend emergencies and holiday coverage that had somehow been valued at $25,000. The Navy taught me about duty, about mission-critical systems and the responsibility that comes with keeping them running, about taking care of your equipment and your people. But it also taught me about leadership, about recognizing when a command structure is fundamentally broken. When a system is designed to fail, eventually it will fail. When leadership decisions consistently prioritize appearance over substance, flash over competence, presentation skills over actual ability to perform under pressure, the system becomes unsustainable. I could fix this crisis. I could patch these systems, implement workarounds, keep everything running through the weekend. I could work another 20 hours straight to clean up the mess that Jonathan's $85,000 optimization project had created, and on Monday morning, he'd probably get thanked for his proactive performance improvements while I'd get another ticket in my queue. At 2:47 a.m., I made a different choice. I stood up from my workstation, unplugged my headset, left my laptop open, alert notifications still firing across the screen, walked out of my home office and closed the door behind me. For the first time in 15 years, I let someone else's problem stay someone else's problem. Kate found me in the kitchen an hour later, sitting at the table with a cup of coffee, staring out the window at the empty street. "Can't sleep?" she asked. I walked away. She sat down across from me, still in her bathrobe, hair pulled back in the messy bun she wore to bed. 22 years of marriage, and she could read my face better than any diagnostic screen. From the crisis? From all of it. We sat in comfortable silence for a while. Kate understood the weight of that decision without needing details. She'd watched me take emergency calls during family dinners, seen me work through weekends and vacations, heard me explain technical problems to executives who'd never thanked me for solving them. "What happens now?" she finally asked. I don't know, but I'm done fixing other people's mistakes for $25,000 while they get $85,000 for making them. My phone was buzzing constantly on my desk upstairs, alert after alert after alert. The sound of a system breaking down without its safety net. For the first time in years, that wasn't my problem anymore. By 6 a.m. Friday, my phone had 23 missed calls. The alert system had completely melted down. Jonathan's optimization script had triggered a deadlock cascade that brought down 3 critical systems simultaneously. Order processing was offline. The warehouse management system couldn't communicate with inventory controls. Quality assurance couldn't track production metrics. Henderson Industries' Black Friday fulfillment operation had ground to a complete halt. I made coffee and read the news while my phone continued buzzing on the counter. Kate came downstairs at 6:30, already dressed for her half-day of teaching. "How bad is it?" she asked, nodding toward my constantly ringing phone. "Bad enough that they're calling me every 3 minutes instead of trying to fix it themselves." She kissed me on the cheek. "You know I support whatever you decide to do." I know. That means everything. At 6:47 a.m., Timothy Nash, VP of Engineering, called. I'd met Timothy exactly 4 times in 15 years, always during post-mortem meetings after major incidents. The kind of guy who appeared when things were already broken and needed someone to blame or praise. "Michael," he said, skipping any pretense of pleasantries, "we need you online immediately. This is a company-critical situation." "I understand," I said. "How quickly can you get the systems back up? I'm not working today." Silence. Long enough that I thought the call had dropped. "This isn't about vacation policies, Michael. The entire operation is down. Henderson Industries is threatening to invoke penalty clauses. We're looking at $1.5 million in potential losses." "Sounds serious. You should get your digital transformation specialist on it. I hear he got an $85,000 retention bonus." Another pause. I could hear background noise, multiple conversations, tension in voices, the sound of people scrambling. "Jonathan doesn't have your system knowledge." "Then you should have thought about that before assigning retention bonuses." Timothy's voice shifted, got harder. "We'll discuss this Monday." "Sure," I said, and hung up. By noon, the crisis had escalated beyond IT. Henderson Industries had activated their backup supplier for 60% of their Black Friday orders. 3 other major clients were asking pointed questions about system reliability and disaster recovery procedures. Precision's stock price was down 4% on rumors of operational problems. Jennifer called at 1:15 p.m. Her voice was strained, exhausted. "Michael, we need to talk. I'm listening. What's it going to take to get you back online?" Finally, the question I'd been waiting for, someone to ask for 15 years. Compensation that reflects actual value instead of presentation skills. Recognition that 15 years of experience has worth. A structure that doesn't punish competence while rewarding corporate theater. I can't make compensation changes over a weekend. Then it sounds like you have a weekend problem. I hung up and turned off my phone. Saturday morning, Kate and I went to Anthony's basketball game. Normal family stuff. It felt good to sit in gym bleachers, cheering for my son, not thinking about database deadlocks or system failures or the chaos I'd left behind. For the first time in months, I wasn't mentally running through troubleshooting scenarios or worrying about alert notifications. Sunday afternoon, I turned my phone back on, 47 missed calls, texts from coworkers asking if I was okay, an email from HR requesting an urgent discussion first thing Monday morning, and one message from a number I didn't recognize. "Michael, this is Rebecca Stevens from Hendrix Manufacturing. I got your name from Sarah Thompson, who used to work with you at Precision. We're looking for a director of legacy systems integration. Would you be interested in a conversation?" Sarah had been one of our best database administrators before she left for a better opportunity 6 months ago. Smart woman who'd gotten tired of being overlooked for promotions while less qualified men got fast-tracked into management roles. I called Rebecca back. Hendrix Manufacturing was a $300 million aerospace component manufacturer looking to modernize their IT infrastructure properly. They needed someone with deep manufacturing experience to lead a team of 6 engineers, someone who understood both legacy systems and modern integration challenges. The conversation lasted 90 minutes. Rebecca knew my reputation in the industry, had heard about my work at Precision from multiple sources. More importantly, she understood the value of institutional knowledge and hands-on technical expertise. The kind of leader who'd worked her way up from the factory floor and knew the difference between flashy presentations and actual competence. Monday morning, I submitted my resignation to Precision via email. Effective immediately. I'd already accepted Hendrix's offer. 30% salary increase, $15,000 signing bonus, and a clear path to senior director within 2 years. Most importantly, a company that valued experience alongside innovation. "You're making a mistake," Timothy said when I called to confirm my resignation. "I made the mistake 15 years ago," I replied. "I'm correcting it now." The aftermath at Precision was swift and predictable. Jonathan worked 72 straight hours that weekend, probably learned more about our systems in those 3 days than in his previous 18 months. But you can't replace 15 years of institutional knowledge in a weekend. Henderson Industries moved 40% of their business to competitors. 2 other clients renegotiated contracts with stricter SLA requirements and higher penalty clauses. The retention bonus program was quietly suspended pending review. Jennifer was reassigned to a strategic consulting role, corporate speak for being shuffled somewhere she couldn't cause more damage. Timothy survived, but barely. Jonathan lasted 6 more months. He wasn't incompetent, just inexperienced and overconfident. Turns out, knowing how to present system improvements isn't the same as knowing how to design and implement them under pressure. He's at a consulting firm now, probably teaching other companies about digital transformation from the safety of PowerPoint slides. I've been at Hendrix for 8 months. Last month, they promoted me to Senior Director of Infrastructure Strategy. My team has grown to 9 engineers. We're modernizing a 35-year-old manufacturing operation, but we're doing it thoughtfully, respecting the systems that work while upgrading what needs improvement. The difference is leadership that understands value. Rebecca knows why I was hired. My team knows their expertise is respected. When we implement optimization scripts, we stress test them properly. When systems fail, we fix them correctly instead of applying quick patches. Rachel finished her sophomore year with a 3.7 GPA. Anthony just completed his freshman orientation. The financial stress of dual college tuition is real but manageable now. Kate went back to full-time teaching because she wanted to, not because we needed the insurance coverage. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed at Precision. If I'd accepted that $25,000 retention bonus and kept fixing other people's mistakes in the shadows. Probably would have worked myself into an early heart attack while watching less competent people get promoted above me. Instead, I learned something valuable about loyalty and self-worth. Loyalty has to be mutual to be meaningful. A company that values your contributions with $25,000 while paying someone else $85,000 for recycling. Your work isn't a place that deserves your best efforts. Walking away at 2:47 a.m. wasn't about ego or revenge. It was about finally understanding my worth and refusing to accept anything less. Sometimes the best career decision you can make is knowing when to stop solving other people's problems for free. Your experience has value, and any organization that doesn't recognize that value doesn't deserve your loyalty.